Hey everyone, I'm Summer, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about leadership, resilience, reinvention, and all the experiences that shape who we become. This is a part of my Teach Me Something playlist where I have conversations with people who have lived extraordinary lives. They have lived through extraordinary challenges and turned those experiences into wisdom, into impact, and meaningful leadership. And today's conversation is about navigating life when things don't actually go according to plan, and how resilience, risk, and even hardship can become catalysts for reinvention instead of a reason to stop. My guest today is fascinating. He's called Tom LeNoble. He is a confidential advisor to founders, executives, nonprofit leaders, and professionals who are navigating pivotal leadership moments. And Tom's career, wow, it spans major organizations. He has worked with Facebook, Walmart, Palm, MCI, along with multiple high growth startups. He is an international speaker, he's a philanthropist, he is a leadership coach and the CEO of the Academy of Coaching Excellence. He's also a bestseller of the book that you see behind him, My Life in Business Suits, Hospital Gowns, and High Heels. This has been an amusing topic to me, and I'm very curious to hear about what he has to talk about it. And this is a deeply personal story shaped by leadership, survival, and reinvention after multiple life-threatening diagnoses. So, Tom, I have to start with your book title because, immediately it makes people feel like, oh, what? So, My Life in Business Suits, Hospital Gowns, and High Heels. That's unforgettable. What inspired that title, and what does it reveal about the different versions of yourself? And
Yeah.
what has it made you become throughout your life and career?
Yes. Well, firstly, Summer, it's great to be with you and your guests. I've been looking forward to being here with you on Teach Me Something for quite a while now, and here we
Thank
are.
you.
This book, My Life in Business Suits, Hospital Gowns, and High Heels, is a memoir that crosses over into self-help. And my purpose is to help the reader see that who we are today is the sum parts of who we've been in our life. And, some of those parts in our life we might want to keep private. They might have been outrageous, or we
Mm,
just think people wouldn't understand. But the reality is, without all of those parts, you wouldn't be who you are today. It's a book of inspiration and of looking at how risk resilience and reinvention might work in your life. I wrote it about
mm,
15 years ago, and it was so
mm.
cathartic. I put it on a shelf in my office and forgot about it. And a few
Oh,
years ago, I came across it, and I do a year in practice every year for about 35 years. And I knew that I either had to finish it or put it in the garbage because it needed some editing. And I decided to run with it.
mm,
And as happens when the universe, God, love, whatever we want to call it, provides, every door started opening. And it's been
mm,
won 5 book awards and been great. I'll tell you, you talked about some of my business career, and thank you for that. That made me feel so good. And hospital gowns, I've had 2 life-threatening illnesses. The first one I was told was terminal.
mm.
I've been given 6 months to live 3 times, and I've lived for the last 14 years with metastatic cancer. And as you can see, I'm still here. Summer,
Mhm,
I've had enough radiation that I glow in the
mm.
dark. You could put me in the corner of your room and I could be your nightlight.
No.
And I think through all of these experiences, you learn a lot. You give up the business suit for a hospital gown where
Mm,
titles and success and status don't matter anymore. People
mm,
are just talking about life and how to
mm,
survive. And then, yes, all 3 of those characters are me. The high heels, many, many years ago, there was a part of my life where I entered a talent show. I was a theater kid, and I entered this talent show at one point, and this persona, Rita, was born and ended up doing shows 4 nights a week, 2 shows a night, pageants, all in high heels, and became quite a
mm.
celebrity. And,
Wow.
she taught me a lot about risk, resilience, and
Mm.
reinvention.
There's something powerful about the way you talk about challenges. You're not just surviving those challenges, you are totally giving your life into allowing it to reshape you. I'm loving that. I
Yeah,
wish we all
summer.
had this superpower of, reshaping
Yeah.
with whatever we are going through.
I think the two biggest things for me that have come out of it is living in gratitude. And for me,
Yeah.
living in gratitude isn't just being grateful for the things that go well. It's being
Mm,
willing to look at the things that don't and how you look at them a little differently. And the
mm,
other is about being of service to others.
mm,
I have a keynote I do in a workshop called the philanthropic mindset. People came to me and said, Tom, when I have money, I want to be a philanthropist. So I
mm,
created this because I thought I need to shift this. So I help people see that your smile, your
mm,
hello, how you
mm,
sit with someone in need or in pain is a philanthropic gesture. You don't have to
mm,
have your name on a building, write a check, or
mm,
attend a gala to be
mm.
able to have the philanthropic mindset. The difference
100%.
is, Summer, if you have an expectation of something in return, then you've crossed out of the philanthropic mindset.
Wow. So true, Tom. And you are so right about not needing to have a building to your name. You can donate without making a noise about it, which is what my husband and I do. We don't call ourselves philanthropists like in public, but we do support several organizations where there are kids, orphans, and young adults that need to further their education. But that's that. You often speak about risk and you speak about resilience, reinvention, and there's something that caught my attention. You call something terrible gifts. Would you
Yes.
would you explain what a terrible gift is
I
and
would
how?
love, I love this to share this. You can herd my life. You can imagine I've taken a lot of risks
Mm,
and I've had to have some resilience, which I look at as a muscle, just like you'd exercise your bicep or tricep, you can
mm,
exercise the muscle of resilience and then it's more
mm,
readily available. I even
mm.
say resilience is your greatest currency because you can lose your title, your house, your position, the stock market can crash, all these things can happen,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no one can take your resilience away.
Mm,
And all of those things require us to reinvent ourselves. And so I want to share with you, though, about terrible gifts. It's a great question. We all have things happen in our lives that we would never want to happen and we wouldn't wish on anybody.
mm,
Someone we love dies,
mm,
a pet dies, a relationship ends, we get sick, a disaster hits that
mm,
causes us something. These are terrible events in life. We wouldn't
mm.
wish them on anyone. But what I know
Never.
to be true, what I know to be true is whether it's a month, a year, 5 years, or 10 years, there's usually almost always a gift from it. These are terrible gifts. I want to give you an example. I know this woman, Lindsay Mitchison. She inspires me so much. She was an Olympiad level athlete. She
Mm-hmm.
went into the hospital for minor surgery, got MRSA, and came out of the hospital without a leg. As she sat in that wheelchair with a cane and walking stick, you can
Mm,
imagine Lindsay went to some dark places. But
mm-hmm.
she looked at the cane and walking stick and said, These are not attractive. And this is what people now identify me with. So
Mm,
Lindsay went to her kitchen and her kitchen oven made a beautiful acrylic cane. She actually
mm,
fashioned the handle around a wine bottle. I want
mm.
you to know Lindsay today has a global business called Neo Walk where she makes beautiful canes and walking sticks for people. So when you see somebody with one, you don't think about their disability or their handicap. You see something else to talk about.
Something beautiful,
Well,
yes.
Lindsay got
Mm.
a terrible gift.
Now I understand. Yes. I've had a terrible gift, at least two of them that I will talk to you privately about. It's making my hair stand on end right now. So that perspective actually changes the way people look at adversity totally. Like,
We have a choice. We
we
have a
have a
choice how
choice.
we look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been given 6 months to live 3 times. I could look at that and retract and pull back and give up. And I'm not
Mm,
saying everybody's capable of what I'm doing,
mm,
but there is hope. There is
mm.
possibility in looking forward and what we might see possible. I know
Yeah.
since I was a little kid, I've had an insane curiosity. It's gotten me in trouble a few times. And the other thing, when someone says to me, that's impossible, I have this little voice that calls up and whispers in my ear and says, watch this. Because I think that if nothing else, when we try and do something after we've thought about it and worked with it some, to be present and move forward, if nothing else, it
Mm,
feels better.
mm, mm. Retracing back to what we're talking about, philanthropy, I want to talk about philanthropy a little bit because people assume, like for a long time, even I assumed that being philanthropic is only about donating money and being known for it. That's a lot of people, that's what they think. Like we were talking about, having a building to my name or no, but your approach feels like much broader than just and way more human than that. So, what does it mean to have a philanthropic mindset? And how can someone become a philanthropist regardless of what their financial situation is?
Yeah, I love this question. I actually write an article about, I call it the philanthropic mindset. And instead
Mm,
of talking to leaders in nonprofits about their nonprofit, I talk about what was it in their life that led to
mm,
them doing a life of service and how they
mm,
see it. And invariably, it has something to do with their early growth or something that happened to them along the journey that they came with this desire to help others.
mm,
I think that we often talk about philanthropy being writing that check and having our build name on a building and those kinds of things. And I like to look at it as maybe we'll call it quiet philanthropy.
mm,
There's these things that we do for others. It can be as simple as when you're walking down the street and you smile at somebody, you have no idea what you might be doing for their day. In fact, if you think about it, likely you had somebody smile at you once on a day that you
mm,
were having a difficulty and it
mhm,
shifted your thinking.
mhm,
Again, the change is when you expect something in return. Once you expect the smile back, you've shifted a little bit. I love to talk about this not only in profit businesses, but nonprofit, because I help people see that someone can give you a check for $10,000
mm,
or someone can give you a check for $5.
mm,
What I want them to see is, while you see that you can do more with the 10,000 than $5,
mm,
it comes from the same wealth. It comes from the same spirit. It
mm,
comes from the same desire for someone to do something for another, and it should be honored that way.
mm,
The other thing I remind them is if you get enough $5 checks, you got a
mm,
lot of money.
mhm. Tom, this conversation is such a reminder. It's like leadership is shaped through resilience, not just, looking successful and people following you and all that, but we shape our lives through generosity, through perspective, through resilience, and our willingness to keep changing, to reinvent ourselves, whatever life's hardest moments while it would be. So that's the one thing that I'm taking away from you. I'm looking forward to more conversations with you because this little podcast episode doesn't feel enough, Tom. You're a wonderful person. You're adding such so much value to
Oh,
my
I've got
podcast.
so much more to share with you, Summer. I want to tell you about my keynote and workshop, Living Fully While Dying. I need to tell you
Mhm.
about that.
Tell me about
And
that first.
oh, I created it, and for me, you heard about my health journey, and it comes in three phases. The first was living fully without regard to dying. The
Mm,
second phase was living fully while I was being told I was dying. The
mm,
third phase was living fully, realizing I was dying all along. And it's not heavy. It's actually a talk and a workshop about empowerment because you see, all of us are here in this body. What the
mm,
great mystery is beyond this is the great mystery, and we have faith and belief in whatever it may be. But this body, the time is limited, and it
mm,
inspires the people to think about what is the call you didn't make? What is the
mm,
risk you haven't taken? What is the
mm,
dream you haven't followed by living fully? I have
mm,
so many clients, Summer, that live in the past as if we
mm.
get a do-over. It's like we watch that movie now on the phone and has to go back 10 seconds. Life is that. When we're living in the past, we're missing what's happening right here now. If we
Mm.
get too far in the future, except for the things we have to have organized in life, we're missing out what's happening here right now. Remember,
100%. Yeah.
remember, we got up this morning. Some
Yes.
people didn't. Some people
Yes.
didn't.
Yes. Yes. Some people did not even live to see last night. So that's profound. Thank you for that reminder. And I live in
Yes.
constant gratitude because I had been given 2 weeks to live at one point. But you guys, if this resonated with you, connect with Tom, explore his book. What a beautiful title, My Life in Business Suits, Hospital Gowns, and High Heels. And listen to his Opening Pathway podcast. And his links are going to be right below. Tom, what's the best place for people to get in touch with you?
Oh, you can go to my website. It's right on the screen, openingpathwayscollective.com. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm all the socials. And while it makes my team crazy when I do this, my email address is resilience@tomlenoble.com. And I would love to hear
No.
from you.
And it drove your team nuts like for a few seconds. But thank you so much for being here. You have been amazing. And I'm looking forward to staying friends with you like forever, whatever
Me too.
forever looks like.
Me too, Summer. It's just the beginning for us.
It's just the beginning. You guys, if you're enjoying these Teach Me Something episodes, make sure you like and subscribe and share this with somebody who is challenging, who's navigating change right now, or reinventing their own life because of whatever life's thrown at them. Thank you so much, Tom, for being here. And you
Thank
guys,
you.
I'll see you in the next one.